measured way in which she made her comment. I support this motion, opportunistic though it is, and it gives me no pleasure to say that I will have to vote against the government, which is not something I make a habit of. But out of loyalty to WASPI, out of support of transitional arrangements, which I agree with, and because legislation needs to be fair and proportionate, and this, I'm afraid, is unfair and has fallen disproportionately on a small number of women for these pension changes. It has been unprecedented, Mr. Speaker. In all my time in the House, I've never known a debate on the same subject 5 times in the space of just 2 months. Westminster Hall with standing room only has happened in the last debate. Now, I welcome the 6 options put forward by the shadow front bench. They are fraught with problems, but they are a starting point. And the one thing the government hasn't done is to actually come up with some options and offer to help to model them. And I would hope and I would ask that we can have a dialogue, we can have detail and we have definition. There is genuine cross-party support on getting this problem sorted. This problem is not going to go away, as we have said before. And I would ask the Minister if he will agree for the Secretary of State to meet a cross-party delegation of honourable members with key members of the WASPI campaign, with the help of civil servants, to look at some possible models, to cost those models and give the implications of it, so at least we can have some facts to see how impractical or practical some of the things might actually be. And I think that will be a helpful way forward. Given the time, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I just want to read from 2 letters from constituents which speak much more eloquently than I could. One from a lady who said 2 years before I was due to retire at the age of 60, I found out that I had to wait till I was 66. Like many other women, not exactly what I planned for. In fact, when I started to work at 15, I was always going to work till I was 60, so everything was planned for that time. I come from a family who believed in work to save for the future and be independent. Despite being widowed at 22 and left with a small baby, I never accepted handouts. The only thing I had was child benefit. As a single mother, I worked and supported my son for 6 years, no tax credits. I was lucky enough to remarry when my son was 7, but still continued to work and be independent financially, which is important to me. Unfortunately, after 2 bouts of cancer, I finally had to stop working when I was in my mid-50s, and much against my ethos had to claim incapacity benefit, but was again reassured that after 5 years I would receive my pension. So it was a complete shock that 2 years before I was due to receive it, I find I will not get it until I'm 66 if I live that long. And another who says, I have worked as a nurse for 40 years, presently a Macmillan cancer specialist. When I was young, I believed that my government would look after me when I reached retirement age of 60. And I believe that they had a contract with me, which they have now broken, as I will be 65 years and 9 months old when I receive my state pension. This will cause me hardship as I grow older, and after working many years in the NHS, I really feel let down. My pension age has been changed twice, and I cannot believe that a woman born 2 years before me already receives her pension. And another lady who ended up after a very similarly impassioned plea. It seems that we older women who have contributed to society are considered unimportant and not worth the financial support that we have earned over the years. I agree, and we need to send out a very strong message to those women that we do care about those women, that there has been a disproportionate effect from perfectly well-intentioned changes to the pension age, and nobody's disagreeing with the equalisation of pensions. Nobody's actually saying we need to go back to a pre-1995 level, but there is a deal to be done. There is a compromise to be reached. There is common sense that needs to break out, and the government needs to listen, and it needs to listen to all sides of this House, and it needs to listen to those women who we value, who have been affected most disproportionately by these well-intentioned changes. And I hope that the Minister will take away that message, and I hope now we can open a dialogue, because we are talking about real women facing real hardship after hard-working lives, doing the sort of thing that we encourage our constituents to do every day of the week.
Dodson.